increasing sales with e-commerce for SXE. I'd like to thank our guest and vendor partner LeanSwift for joining us for this particular presentation. I think that this webinar is particularly timely for a couple of reasons. One of which is TUG is around the corner. We'll be there in a few weeks, and I see by a lot of the participants that are on the webinar today, I know a lot of folks will be there that are on the webinar. Be aware that actually LeanSwift will be there with us in the NSA booth. So a lot of the experts from LeanSwift will be joining us, and you're able to get a lot of detailed questions answered both there as well as prior to TUG if you wish. And in addition, anyone that's a member of the Storefront Special Interest Group, LeanSwift will also be conducting a presentation there. I just wanted to kind of set the stage here a little bit for folks. So as many folks that are on the call may be aware that our Storefront users today, Infor has moved Storefront into a maintain mode of maintenance. That's a very recent development over the last several weeks. What that basically means for folks that are on Storefront is that Infor will continue to maintain Storefront. It's certainly not going away momentarily, so there's no need to panic, but you know, it is prudent to take a look at alternatives that are coming about probably over the next 6 months to 1 year and be ready to move to another platform. One thing that I'll share about LeanSwift is that they are available both on the cloud suite as well as on the more modern versions of on-prem SXE. With that, what I'd like to do is introduce Johan Axelsson. He is the founder and VP of Sales at LeanSwift Solutions. He's a little bit warmer than I am today. He's located in Florida, and I'm up here in cold Buffalo. So I'll be joining him down there in Florida in a few weeks. I can't wait for that. He's an entrepreneur with 25 plus years experience working with Infor and Lawson and M3. So he's got a significant amount of familiarity with other Infor products in addition to SXE. And with that, Johan, I'll pass the ball to you.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, and thanks everyone for joining in. And today's webinar now, we are recording this as well. So if you had some colleagues who didn't have a chance to join in, let us know, reach out, and we'll be happy to share the recording as well. And today's webinar now, we got a lot of different topics. The topic of the webinar, of course, is how do we increase sales with e-commerce for SXE? And in doing that, we'd like to share a little bit of, well, what we have been doing for other customers, what other customers are doing in different arenas, both when it comes to B2B and B2C. How do we, when it comes to increasing sales, well, it's of course about being able to take the order, but also about to get the customers to show up in the first place, then to place the order, and then to service them throughout the process. So the topics of today, we're going to go in and I'm going to run some live demonstrations for you. You're going to see how this works and what we've done for other customers. And part of this is also looking at the topics on the right here when it comes to inbound marketing, lead nurturing, product lifecycle management. So I think that kind of the message here, it's not when you're looking for the really driving sales now with e-commerce, don't look for a silver bullet that's going to do everything for you. We're really looking at using the best possible tools and techniques and best business processes that are available. And of course, it all ties back to SXE as the core ERP system who's going to process the orders. But to give you a little bit of an idea, then we're going to take a look at these different topics. So when the first thing that we talked about when working with customers about digital transformation has been a great buzzword for a couple of years now, and you're all looking at how do we become more efficient? Well, it's not really rocket science. It's all about just we've worked for the past 150 years to be more efficient in our operations. Well, we need to do the same thing when it comes to our information. So our informational efficiency is really what we're looking at, and we're looking at deploying the tools that's going to make us more efficient. We're not the first ones doing this. There's a lot of companies out there, and you're familiar with some of these, where that has really changed change the way the entire industry works. So Uber, Airbnb use technology to drive a digital revolution. Well, we're not looking at doing that. That's not our ambition when we're working with you guys. But our ambition is to take you on a really on the digital evolution. And who's the reason where we want to talk a little bit about what we're looking at, what Amazon has been doing, and why do we do that? Well, Amazon, I think, really has set the bar for what all your customers are expecting. So it's important to know, well, to just take a little step back and see, well, what made Amazon, so what has made Amazon so successful? Well, it's a couple of things. Number one, they made it easy for you for us as customers to do business with Amazon. Number two, they really looked at the entire supply chain. They did not focus just delivering a web shop. It was everything from, of course, the AWS to the hostings and servers. But from when it comes to the commerce side of things, it was really the fulfillment centers, the pick, pack, and shipping, and making sure that we have transparency in the delivery process. So if you're comparing your business to what Amazon is doing, are you better? Are they better than what you guys are doing? And then, or if there's a gap, how big is the gap? One thing that Amazon launched was the one-click checkout. And I'm going to keep coming back to this. Well, how do we make it easier for your customers to do business with you? If you look at your customers today, if they're going to place an order with your business, how many clicks do they have to do? Or how many touch points do they have before they can place that order? And the reason for us to really take this in is the impact that Amazon has, because when, Brian mentioned this, we've been doing this for a long time. I remember back in the .com era, around the turn of the century, everyone thought that just as long as I launch a website, I'm going to have customers coming in. Well, the consumers were not there because the consumers were not ready. Today, the consumers are ready. And the consumers that, if you cannot cater to your customers the way kind of that they shop on Amazon, when they come back home, they're going to feel like you're not really up to par. So what is the impact? Well, just some numbers, some food for thought. 44% of US households have a gun. 49% have a landline. 51% of US households go to church. And 63% of US households are Amazon Prime members. And if all of you on the webinar today just think, well, I'm a Prime member, so your customers are Prime members, what this means that this is kind of really setting the bar. So that's kind of just give us a little bit of food for thought of saying, well, what are your customers expecting from you and from your business and from the interactions with your business, and why? So then looking at how do we get the customers to come in the first place? Well, the main topic of today is the e-commerce, and we're going to look at, well, how do we place an order? How do we have this order now seamlessly transition into SXE? But how do we get the customers to come in here to begin with? Well, a lot of our customers today, they now combine the e-commerce functionality with inbound marketing and lead nurturing. A big part of this is getting to know your customers, getting to know your different differences between your customers, working with customer segmentation. So are you using Marketo or HubSpot or any other inbound marketing tool today to really drive different marketing messages to different customer segments? Because they're not all the same. When it comes to selling, well, depending on where you're selling, I'm going to get back to the multi-channel opportunities. But one of our customers that when looking at, they do both B2B, they do B2C, and the head of e-commerce as well. Anyone not doing affiliate marketing is just leaving money on the table. They got 20% of the revenue coming in with affiliate marketing. So it's all, when it comes to presenting your products, selling your products, again, it's not the silver bullet, but there are some great tools available that we can leverage and that we work with now when it comes to reaching out to customers. And this, when a customer has placed the order, it's not such a big difference today between B2B and B2C as you could think, especially when it comes to the marketing, when it comes to the customer communication side of the transaction. because remember that all your customers, they go home and they are consumers in their daily life. So from a B2B experience, of course, the functionality is going to be different when looking at these different websites. So if I switch out from this and go take a look at some of our customers today, switching over to some of these, all of these customers now, the common denominator for everything you're going to see today, these are all info customers. So alternative apparel, Monza, which runs the Fox agency in Australia, Edeco, selling drills, and Fuller's brewery, Seos. These are all websites now that some of these are B2B, some of these are B2C, but the common denominator is, well, it's the same platform. They all seamlessly tied into the backend ERP, and it's not a huge difference. So if I'm in this case now, I'm actually, well, let me take a look at one of the products. So go pulling up one of the women's tops shirts. So from a B to C aspect, anything like you would imagine from an Amazon type of user experience, with selecting my different colors, selecting the sizes, add to cart. From a B2B point of view, so this is the B2C site. If I'm switching over to my printwear login, so we got a wholesale site. It's the same platform that we're using. So the platform that you see today is Magento. So Magento is the e-commerce platform that we tie into InfoSXC. And from a user experience, very much the same, right? So we're reusing a lot of the same product information. Can I get back to talking about the product information management? A main difference, though, if I'm at the wholesale side, I can find the products. And some of our customers that made this publicly available, some of them decide that we're really hiding the B2B site and only letting our B2B customers finding it. But the main difference is, well, I gotta log in for pricing, inventory, and ordering. I don't see the pricing on the B2B side. So we can cater to different customer segments, different functionality. And if I now have a user ID, I can log in. If I'm for alternative, if I don't have an account, well, then I can't just set up an account and become one of their and shop on the wholesale side. I can apply, and then there's an application process behind the scenes that we need to use to make me to have me approved to become a customer. Another difference then between B2B and B2C is kind of the entire ordering process. When it comes to placing an order, it could be, in this case, logging into a site that is selling. And also, I want to showcase a number of different websites here to give you an idea that this is not just fashion customers. The customers that are using this, there was a lot of fashion customers that were driving the industry, I would say, to begin with. But today, anyone that has customers really needs to have a site that will make it possible for our customers to place an order directly. From a user experience point of view, well, depending on what type of products I'm presenting and I'm selling, it's important that we cater to that customer segment, which is different from B2C, between B2C and B2B. So this is a typical B2B site. One of the key things, and you can see that also it's we cater to multiple different languages. So this is actually a Scandinavian site. So the language you see is in Swedish. One of the key things that they said when catering to the B2B customers as well, there's about 40,000 SKUs in this product catalog. They said we don't want our customers to drill down from one catalog to another and indefinitely. We need to have a minimum number of clicks. Again, coming back to what Amazon is doing. So, well, our customers, they typically, if I'm going to buy a drill, I typically know the length of the drill. So my length is going to be 10. if I selected the length, the next option that I have is they typically know what type of material they're going to be drilling into. And they also know in this industry, their customers, that P means it's steel and K means it's cast iron. I don't know that terminology, but all of their customers apparently know. So with two different selections, I'm now down to one particular drill that I should be using to drill into cast iron in that particular length. So instead of filtering through 40,000 SKUs, here comes the next piece then. Remember now that I selected the length of the drill and I selected what I'm going to drill into, what type of material, but I didn't select the dimension. So we have a couple of number of different ways now of presenting the products. And what we did here was we said, well, all of this particular drill comes now in different dimensions, but it's not super critical that I have a high resolution image of that drill in all the different dimensions. It's going to look the same. So we have group information with all of that information about the product. It's the same now for all of these different dimensions. But these are the different SKUs, the item numbers in the ERP. And I can now pick up or also see this is actually available inventory. So this is my available inventory, 12 of this one, 5 of that one. And I can also, when you highlight it, hovers to see what is the lead time if I don't have this in stock. It would be 1 to 2 days for me is the lead time that comes from the ERP. So in this case, you can see that I don't have this particular dimension available in stock, but instead of saying out of stock, I'm saying, well, the lead time is 1 to 2 weeks, again, in Swedish, but it still gives the customers a possibility to say, if I can wait that lead time, then I still want to be able to place that order for that customer. And if you think about now our B2C and B2B, another thing, kind of common denominators, is that customer communication is just as important. So if you have customers, well, we have a portfolio of different chatbots to connect your customers. Could be directly to customer service, could be that tying them to the sales reps if they have an account rep that they should be communicating with. If they are available, the chatbot will direct the communication to those persons. If they're not, it's automatically going to turn into being an email functionality instead. So having access to all the information that I need when I need it and presented, give available inventory, pricing as well is crucial. And let me use this one more thing I want to showcase to you guys. You noticed how when I was scrolling down, I see the available inventory and see the pricing. Well, if I step out of this product detail page again, and I'm going to launch it again, and you're going to notice that we actually go back now and pick up the pricing and the inventory in real time. So if I scroll down, I didn't have the available inventory. It took like 2 seconds for me to go get all that inventory from the backend ERP. So when designing the site, of course, it's crucial that we need to cater to have good performance, because a slow site is the worst thing that could happen. Your customers, they want to be able to get to the site, get in there quickly, get out, and then just place the order as quickly as possible. Do you think I want to take one more example to showcase? Hold on. Just a different user experience. And to showcase, there's not one size now that fits all. So this customer champion pet foods, when it comes to being able to place an order, so I need to log in or register to become a new customer. Once I'm logged in, it takes me to the account page. Have you noticed something on this page? Well, there's no categories. There's no product catalog. Well, when it comes to their customers, they said we really would like to have 2 different ways for our customers to place an order. We would like to have either a quick order form or a CSV upload. So if you're catering more to B2B, the customer experience needs to be tailored to to your customers. So in this case, if I'm a B2B customer, says I'd like to have 2 pallets of that dog food, I'd like to have 4 pallets of that dog food, turns into 392 bags. I don't want to do that calculation myself. So do you use different unit of measures? Well, we can then make sure that we give your customers the quickest possible way of adding that to the shopping cart. Also saying that, well, if I don't want to fill that out, I have my CSV file and I'll just do an upload, import, add to cart, and I can download a sample file, populate that, and send that back up to the shopping cart and complete the checkout process. And of course, once I've logged in, looking at my account, I have access to my order history, view previous orders, reorder previous orders, and depending on which information now you would like to make available to your customers. Some of our customers, they let their customers create new shipping addresses. Some of them let them maintain the billing addresses, some don't as well. For billing addresses, you got to contact customer service. For shipping addresses, you maintain that yourself. So main objective here, wanted to highlight that there's not one particular way that this site the way the site have to look. And when it comes to giving access to, switching back to another demo store, so all of these stores that I've been clicking through now, Fox and Alternative and Ideco, these are all live customer sites that we're looking at. And if I'm switching over to a demo site, so this particular demo store now, it's not, this is just not a production site. But if I'm go back and take a look at my account, and my accounts now have access to my previous order information. Do I have newsletters I subscribe to, questions? So it could also be Q&A information, giving your customers a way to say, well, I'd like to find my previous orders, view the orders, see the invoices that are connected to this particular order, and any other type of documents or information that you would like to provide related to that customer, to a specific product, or to a specific lot number, for instance. So another really good example of no two sites look the same chat functionality. Berkshire, they cater to clean room environments, contamination control. So any type of products that they sell is clean room supplies. If we take a look at some of one of the key requirements for their customers is, well, we would like to have access to product data. I need safety data sheets. I need to have access to certificate of analysis. So if I'm looking at any type of certificate of sterility now for one of these products, and let's say that I purchased a product that had lot number 0825720. That's the lot number on the order that I was delivered. I can directly go to the site and pull up the certificate of irradiation in this case. So do you have any customers that are potentially being audited that they need some kind of documentation from you? Well, this comes back to how do we make it easy for your customers to do business with you? If there's something they need, that you should be able to provide this without them contacting customer service, without calling or asking or emailing or waiting for the information. The number one thing is just making it available as quickly as possible. So that's been a key thing when it comes to, so we looked at some similarities and differences between the B2C and B2B. So when our customers, we've had a lot of conversations over the past 5, 6, 7 years about, well, is this going to create kind of a barrier, or is this alienating my customers? It does not. The main thing for all of the experience that we're having right now is, as long as we provide transparency in your supply chain, if you give them all the information they need when they need it, access to available inventory, access to shipping information, has it shipped, what's the tracking number of the of the order, any other type of documents, and you saw some of the certificates right now, and minimizing the steps for them to place the order. That really is driving customer satisfaction and is driving the sales volume as well. So one example, just how important it is also now to make sure that we deliver user experience that is what these exactly what these guys really need. So if I'm a dog food or cat food buyer now, and I want to order this by the pallet, well, we need to make sure that we have a minimum number of clicks for them to place the order. And we had an example of a customer in the shoe industry selling shoes and selling B2B to retailers, and they took one order of 125,000 euros. That's a lot of shoes in that order. And someone placed this order on a mobile device. And they've been tracking, of course, now previously, well, what is the user adoption of mobile versus desktop? And they contacted the customer in question and asked them, so why did you place the order on the mobile device now? We've seen that you've used your desktop previously, because it was a significant number of shoes they had to add to the shopping cart. And he said, well, I was downstairs, and it was more convenient for him to use his mobile then downstairs than to walk upstairs and place that order. But if you think about how that user experience on that mobile, I wish I could demo that for you today, but the user experience on the mobile device is really catered to this person now. He had 15 stores he was placing orders for, so he had templates ordered already. He took his template order, added that one, made a few adjustments, and then said, okay, I would like to add this to my other 15 stores, and just copy that over to 15 other stores. So as long as you make it really convenient for your customers to do business with you, that really is going to increase the sales. It drives the sales for sure. Other things to think about, well, when it comes to the entire suite of tools that we need, when it comes to catering to your customers, is product lifecycle management. When sometimes some of our customers refer to this as product lifecycle management, some of it just product information management. So the PIM systems or product information management, there's a number of different tools out there that we can use. A lot of our customers now, we use Magento for the e-commerce platform. A lot of them use Magento also for the PIM system, meaning now that we take the products from SXE, synchronize them to Magento. When looking at the products, they typically will not have all the product information available. Let me go bring up men's pants. So if I'm looking at some summer weight tactical pants, well, some of the information is readily available in the backend ERP, and some of the information we need to add on the front end. Images, for instance, is a typical thing that we're storing in the document asset management system or in the PIM system. And so when doing that, well, we were feeding this in, and then from the core supply, and then we have an enrichment process, so we're enriching the product information, and then depending on when and where this is going to be released, and depending on who you're feeding this information to, is this now only to one of your websites? Do we have both a B2C site and a B2B site? Do you have customers that could use your feed? Do you have resellers that potentially could be you're feeding, providing the product feed? So as you're launching new products, all your distributors are also being able to tap into that feed immediately. And that's so one third-party tool in this case is InRiver that is really good at doing this. Channel Advisor is another tool that is used for product information management. And Channel Advisor has a couple of other functions and features. And it's not the only one. So these are just examples that our customers are using. And one of the main advantages of using Channel Advisor is if I want to go multi-channel. So if you're selling or presenting your products on your own B2B site, on your own B2C site, well, are you also presenting your products on Amazon and on Walmart and on Rakuten and on Jet.com or any other channels out there? What our customers has found is I mentioned earlier now that we needed to, stepping back real quick, you need to look into affiliate marketing and see how you can have a lot of other marketing sites be presenting and reselling your marketing your products. Apart from that, there's actually more. We have more people today searching for products on Amazon than Googling these products. So we've always looked at, well, how do we make sure that Google and Bing and the search engines are updated with our products and our product information? Well, if your products are not on Amazon, you're missing out on potential traffic. So we have customers today that specifically for the ones that are brand owners. Now, I realize we all have different requirements. Some of you don't own the brand, but you are distributors. And some of you also own the brand. So if we look at alternative apparel, for instance, they have their own brand. So if I go to Amazon and look at alternative apparel for women, they noticed that if they were not presenting their products and having their products available on Amazon, well, then someone else were doing this for them. And someone else, one of the distributors or any third party that would present the products, well, would not have the product presented the way they wanted them to be presented. They probably would not have all the complete size chart and the information. So they presented the products on Amazon, primarily not to compete with the distributors, but of course not competing with the distributors, but just for branding purposes. And another one of our customers, Augusta Sportswear, also noticed that apart from selling on one of these sites, apart from selling on Amazon, you're catering, again, we talked about customer segmentations. There are different, you have different consumers, different customers shopping on Amazon versus shopping on Walmart. And we've really seen Walmart picking up the fight with Amazon, with the acquisition of Jet.com and acquisition of Flipkart and Bonobos and Moose Jaw. So Walmart, when it comes to presenting your products on Amazon and Walmart today, and potentially other channels, that's just another potential for you to increase your sales, drive additional sales. Of course, now, I can hear a lot of you thinking, well, how much extra work is that for us to do this? Well, if you have a good tool for this, so using a PIM solution like Channel Advisor, for instance, now, so we take the product information from SXE, we do the enrichment. When you publish this, we publish not only now to your website, we publish this on Amazon, on eBay, on Jet.com, on Walmart directly. And apart from publishing the product information, because there's key things we need to look at here is, well, different product, they might have a different category structure in different on different channels. They have different image requirements on different channels. So we need to be compliant, and that's what a tool like Channel Advisor is doing for us, making sure that we are compliant with all of these different channels. When placing the order, same thing then. We're getting the order from Amazon back to Channel Advisor, from Channel Advisor into Magento, from Magento into SXE. So even though that might look like a number of steps, the key thing for us is that it's touchless when doing that. So Augusta Sportswear today, if I'm placing an order on Amazon or Walmart today, that order comes touchless directly from Amazon and Walmart into, we actually have another site set up that doesn't have a storefront that you can't see, but the order transactions comes in this way, feeds right into the ERP so they can release the pick list and they can pick, pack, and ship this touchless. And Augusta today, they have 75% of the order volume is touchless. I don't know where you guys are at with this, but if you think about it, if you could take 75% of your orders that just comes in from one of the different channels, release the pick list, pick, pack, and ship this touch list. Average savings are typically what we hear is about $15 per order across our different customers. So what if you could go to 50%, 60%, 70%? It's not, of course, that takes some time to build up that traction. But another one of our customers, going back to these guys, when we first launched the site, they in the first 12 months they had nothing to begin with. So we went from 0 to 25% of the order volume in the first year. And the feedback they were getting from their customers was, thank you for improving customer service. It's now so much easier to place the order when I would like to, and I have the information available. So the effect from them, of course, was, well, 25% of that order volume multiplied with the cost savings. And they used to do printed product catalogs. They stopped doing that catalog printing as well, not needed anymore. So that was another savings that paid for the entire project. So that's on multi-channel, different options and things to just food for thought to think about. Some of you might be doing omni-channel. Some of you might have heard about it. Some of you are just thinking, well, so what do we need to think about when it comes to omni-channel versus multi-channel? Well, when it comes to my multi-channel, I would like to sell on as many channels as possible. I would like to be as transparent as possible, but targeting to different customer segments. Potentially, one customer segment on Amazon is not the same as the customer segment on Walmart. When it comes to the omni-channel experience, it's all about putting your customers, giving your customers in the focus, and having one user experience, making sure that all the information that the customer receives is the same, regardless if I'm placing the order now by phone, if I'm sending in a PDF order, if I go online and place the order, is the pricing the same? Are the terms the same if they go to places on a mobile phone, or you have a campaign on social media, just making sure that all the customer experience is the same. And of course, for those of you that do have stores, tying this back into the store, the point of sale system as well. So a customer potentially now can say, well, I bought this online, I got the shipment back home, I'm taking the product and I go back to the store. I'd like to do a refund in the store. I'd like to have this credited to my accounts, and I walk out of the store. I would like to buy something else, and then I use my mobile device to place a new order using the store credit. Well, I would say a handful of customers, not as many, because there are not as many customers that have physical stores, but it's just a slightly different things to think about when it comes to then making sure now that we're tying in having a loyalty program. So my loyalty program is the same in the physical stores as it is online. Also, if you haven't even forgot to put that on there, we're talking about how do we drive additional sales to your current SXC customers. Well, another one of our customers, MacArthur Company. How many of you do have a loyalty program? If you don't have a loyalty program, just thinking out of the box. So MacArthur selling building material. They do have a loyalty programs, and they says, well, if you now purchase for X amount this year, you're earning the points and you're going to qualify for our customer event that we do in Barbados on February 2nd. Trip sold out. There was a lot of 900 points. It was really easy for customers apparently this year to get the points. So again, coming back to the discussion about B2C versus B2B, your B2B customers does not have to be that different from your B2C customers. So that's multi-channel, that's omni-channel, punch-out solutions. What are we doing with punch-out solutions? What are punch-out solutions? Well, another topic for discussion with a lot of customers has been, well, are we just moving the work from our customer service to our customers? Will they actually be willing to take the time and the effort to go to the product catalog, find the products, and check out? Well, some of your customers do, if you provide them the right information. Some of them is going to say, you know what, I want to create a purchase order in my system, and I'm not going to send that purchase. I'm not going to, you take that purchase order and you send that in. Well, what if we can combine this? So with a solution like Punch Out to Go, and we have one of our customers today, switching over to another one, eConnect. These guys deliver labels, papers for printers. One of their customers have 8,000 users that come into their shop and placing orders. Out of these 8,000 users, well, they have a lot of different printers. So the customer wanted to make sure that everyone that's going to place an order now make sure that they buy the right label or the right paper roll for the right printer. But at the same time, they need to create a purchase order in their system. So they initiate the purchase order in SAP. That SAP now, using the Punch-Out solution, takes them to eConnect store. They can browse the product catalog. They can search for their particular machine, find the right paper roll, add to cart, and then when I'm added to the cart, I can transfer that back. Instead of completing the checkout, I transfer this back through Punch-Out to Go, which completes my purchase order in SAP, and they pass that order in using EDI. So we're still simplifying for them. Otherwise, it would be impossible for them to make sure that they actually ordered the right products from the site. So the more we can tie this in, you probably have a lot of customers out there that potentially using Ariba as a purchasing system. Could you let them browse your site and bring that order back to complete the checkout? So that's another solution of just driving additional sales. Finally, so what we have been noticing now is that the customers now that we can transition from placing an order, an analog order, email order, if we can drive these to move these customers to start placing an e-commerce order, the average order volume, the order value, average order value, and the order volume increases as they go to customer self-service. If we then can look at these customers and say, well, for the ones that actually have a lot of traffic, a lot of transactions, if we can move them to EDI, well, then we're going to increase the traffic even further. So it's kind of a stepping them up the ladder, making sure that we can look at these and see, well, why, if you're not placing your orders online today, what do we need to do to make it easier for you to place that order? So is it the upload order that we need to do? Is it that if I go find a particular product that I'm looking up this particular another type of drill and finding my item number? Some of their customers says, well, I know the item number. I don't want to go find it in a product catalog. I just like to have like a quick order entry. Says I'd like to have 5 of this added to the list. So item quantity, and looking up, yeah, it's available inventory. This is your price for it. Here's the total price, and check out. So we just need to make sure that we make it easier for your customers to do business with you. So what is this? How does this happen now? How do we tie this then seamlessly from Magento into SXE? Well, we have working now tightly together and delivering an integration with that seamlessly ties this into from Magento to SXE. And if I go back again and look at, we saw some of my demo shop. And if I go back and took a look at my account in my demo shop, I've placed a couple of orders. If I go in and look at my product, I'm going to go back to my product catalog, finding some sheets, looking at the product detail information, adding this to my cart. And when doing the checkout process as well, so I got one product in my shopping cart, go to the checkout process. Of course, anything the website functionality is really comprehensive, where the other customers that purchase this product also purchase that product. If you'd like to define an upsell possibility of saying that, you know what, customers looking at this product, but I have another product that I have a better margin on, we can try to upsell that product instead as well, or we will recommend you to take a look at this nice product. When it comes to the checkout process itself, the checkout process will look the way you want it to look, but we'd be happy to work with you and define this. We need to make sure that the checkout process is as few clicks as possible, of course. So if I have multiple different shipping methods, multiple different payment methods, we need to make it quick and seamless. My billing and shipping address are the same. I'm logged in. I have terms, so we're not going to bother him with a credit card functionality. We're just going to place the order, and off you go. Thank you for shopping. So if you have a customer now that don't have terms, well, we present them with credit card information, and they need to complete the process with supplying, making sure that they check out using the credit card to begin with. So this is what everything you've seen so far now. This is what the customer sees. So what do we see as customers behind the scenes? So our eConnect is actually a Magento extension. Magento is an e-commerce solution, market-leading e-commerce solution. 25% of global commerce is managed by my Magento stores. So that's one reason that we've selected to work with Magento, is just there's so much functionality, so much extensions available. So if the functionality is not available in core Magento, it's very likely that there's an extension available that we can go to the marketplace and download and find. If I go to Magento Marketplace and looking at the marketplace, so if there is something regarding customer support or payments or marketing, shipment fulfillment, or site optimization that we would like to add, we typically don't have to build this ourselves. We can just go to the marketplace, worst case, buy this for $349 instead of spending consultant hours to extending the functionality. Typical thing is like payment solutions. So we have one big functionality for Northern Europe is using Klarna as a payment solution, and downloading this, just deploying it. When we download and deploy this, well, it's something that we will enable in the backend admin user interface. So while the customer see the storefront, we can now go log in the backend as administrators. If I log in as an administrator, I can see my dashboard, some average order information, lifetime sales, what are my best sellers, my most viewed products, what are new customers that it has recently been set up, what are customers that are online right now. So just some basic dashboarding information. Also, sales information. So as I complete the checkout, the way we got this design right now is we want to make sure that all the core functionality in Magento works as intended out of the box. So Magento has order information, invoices, shipments, credit notes, credit memos, billing arrangements, etc. But it's pretty rudimentary compared to what we have available in SXE. So what we can do here is we're placing the order, and then excuse me. Then our eConnect is synchronizing these. So if when we're looking at these different orders, here's my backend SXE order number. So if looking up, stepping back from that order detail, and of course this is not something your customers would ever see. Only administrators that you would let have access to this would be able to go in, and we can manually now say, I would like to synchronize this order with SXE. Send this in, it will process the order using the APIs in SXE to process it, get the actual order number back. And we initially, Brian mentioned here that we cater now both to older versions of SXE, so where you have SOAP web services or you have SXE 11 with and later versions with REST web services, both of these will be catered to. But where do we, this, when I looked at the orders, that was order information. Same thing with product information. If I go look at the product catalog, we can synchronize product information, and I've talked about them either using Magento as your product information management system, adding additional information directly in Magento, or if you want to use Channel Advisor in River or another PIM solution, that's also possible. So with getting some questions, we'll get back to some questions in just a few more minutes, and I'm gonna get to some questions. So when it comes to synchronizing product information, same thing here, synchronizing price information, and we do have a possibility now to configure the integration to say, well, when it comes to pricing information, would you like to synchronize the price information? If it is a B2C store, we typically don't want to have any unnecessary transactions going back and forth. So for B2C, we can synchronize, and there's one price for all the customers in that store. When it's B2B, we can do real-time price lookup. So every customer logs in, they will get their price depending on the prices and discounts that has been configured in SXE. So if I go take a look at some of the configurations, I mentioned we can have one or multiple different storefronts. We can define, in this case, I got one different store. We could have different stores for different brands. We can have multiple different stores for B2C versus B2B. So possibility of doing tailored configurations to cater to more than one customer segment. And of course, when it comes to these orders, we don't manually go in and do this synchronization. So there are, Magento comes with something called cron jobs. So this cron job says, well, you will define how frequent we're going to do the synchronizations with the backend, your backend SXE. When apart from that, we'll just some of the core configuration, which version would we like to connect to? So one question we had there was, well, which version do we support? Do we support 6.1? As we do support from SXE version 6, and it's just two different ways of connecting between 6 through 10 and 11. So we'd be happy to pick up that the conversation together with our partners at NSA.com to see, just to make sure that your particular version now is supported. But anything from 6 should be supported. So when connecting, well, just some connection information. Where do we connect to? When presenting this, and also a couple of different settings. When the customer logs in and it goes to take a look at their order history, if I look at my account and my order history right now, you can decide, would you only like to see your e-commerce orders, or would you like to enable them to see the full order history for anything that's been placed manually as well? If you take some orders by customer service or sales reps and some orders by online, we can still display all these orders. Which company should we connect to? Which warehouse should we connect to? If we have multiple different warehouses, which is the main warehouse? Inventory synchronization. I mentioned price synchronization, but also when it comes to inventories, we can decide that we do synchronize, but as the customer goes and looks at the product, when I open the product detail page for one particular product, we could define this to say, now that I open the product detail page, now we go take a look at what's available inventory to do an extra validation. We can also say, when I add to cart, when I do the checkout process, because they might take them a while to complete the checkout process. So we do an additional inventory validations. Price synchronization, product synchronization, customer synchronization of deciding if I have the state should be synchronized to the region in Magento. So synchronizing your SXE to Magento. So lots of flexibility and opportunity. And I wanted to know we're running short of time. So that was the one question I saw was regarding the versions. Let's see if we have any other questions. One question here is the non-SXE data coming from PIM, and is it a Magento PIM or another? Example of PIM setup and maintenance. Good question. So when it comes to PIM, if I go to product catalogs and look at the product, we have a possibility in Magento to define an unlimited number of product attributes. So apart from the attributes that you have in SXE, we can add a set of attributes, and we can have different attributes for different types of products. They don't have to be the same. Of course, they are different requirements depending on what type of products I'm looking at. And then using Magento to work with these products to maintain it and update these products. So there are different types of products, and with this something we call an attribute set. So we can have different attribute sets contains different attributes for different types of products. If I'm selling shoes or if I'm selling grills, well, it's going to be different attributes that we would like to maintain and keep track of. So that was hopefully today just scratching the surface, getting your interest, and we'd be happy to meet you at TUG, to set up other calls and see what we can do going forward with making sure we drive some additional sales.
Yeah, Johan, this is Brian. I'd like to thank you for taking a very robust and comprehensive solution here and being able to boil that down to a 1-hour webinar. So I hope that everyone on the line can see how robust and flexible the eConnect tool is, and more importantly, see the opportunity to really drive ROI in terms of your order processes and so forth. I don't know if everyone on the call has seen, but we mentioned about the multi-channel with Walmart and Amazon and so forth. Walmart had a blowout quarter for Q4. They exceeded forecast and so forth, and that was primarily driven by a 43% increase in quarter-over-quarter e-commerce. So their investments in the e-commerce channel are really paying off for them. And I know it can pay off for a lot of our clients and prospects that are on the call here. In fact, you've already had some people reaching out, and I would invite anybody else that's interested in having a one-on-one call to please reach out to me at brian.weaver@nsacom.com, and we'll be happy to get something set up and or meet you at TUG if you're planning to attend. Glad to do either of those. And thank you all for attending the webinar today, and I look forward to assisting you with this solution as well as others in our future series. Thank you all.
Thanks all. Have a good day.